Okay, so today what we're going to do is we're going to start gapping rings, assembling the pistons. I had a trip to the dentist today. Love that. Can never explain how much the stress is when you are scared of the dentist. But yeah. Okay. So the trick is get a piston, which I have over here. Assembly lube. No one's paying me, so I don't care if you see it or not. I have 2 assembly lubes. I need 1 piston. So there's my brand new piston with assembly lube, and that goes right down there, right? Well, obviously that's the wrong way, but we don't want to drop it in there yet because then I won't be able to fish the little son of a thing out. So you take your piston rings, old head bolts. They're torque to yield, so we don't ever reuse them. Open up our box of piston rings from RIK Rings. Never heard of them. Not that I would have heard of any. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, we don't have 6. There's no way. 1, 2, 3. Oh, they did. They gave me 6. So I have a spare set, so don't break any. You take 1 set. I'm going to put it there. Put the rest back in the box if I can. It says, for diesels and some new gasoline engine, 2-piece oil control ring with coil expander. Step 3. Well, step 1. Read the fitment instructions carefully before fitting piston rings. Well, alright. Sure. That doesn't explain a bunch. We can go with that. Oh, nice. New rings? What are you guys looking at here? So this is the oil ring. There. Yeah, there we go. There's the oil ring. And 1 or 2 of these is the top ring. And they do say 50 over on them too. Now, I don't see one of these as being a scraper ring. So I'm going to do, come on, set the other ring right here. I'm going to take this ring. And I have never done this before. Take your piston. Push it down in there so it's straight in the bore. And then you would measure the gap. So when the ring is in the bore, the gap in here, you measure it with feeler gauges. Let me go get them. Alright, so feeler gauges. Gloves got to come off. Coffee has to go in. Very good coffee. There we go. Put that guy right there. And we're going to open up the iPad because that's where I have the shop manual hidden. Okay, so the piston ring is in there. And right here is our ring gap up at the top. It's saying that standard end gap is 0.27 to 0.54 millimeter. And it does have it in inches too. So we're going to find the appropriate gapping tool here. Well, it's not the gapping tool, but it's a touchy-feely gauge. Okay, so our tolerance, 0.27 millimeters to 0.54. Well, I have 0.508 millimeters here, and she don't fit, which is fine. So let's drop down to, say, a 0.4. Not quite. Very, very close. So our lowest is 0.27. Let's go 0.356. And of course, my lighting is sucking. So I've got 0.35. Still can't get a gap in there. This is what we're measuring before we start filing. 0.27 is our standard lowest. Still can't get a gap. There's 0.279 and drops right in there. Let's go up one size and make sure that the 0.305 doesn't fit by itself without the 0.33 stuck in there with it. So the 0.305 does fit. We'll make sure the 330 fits. There's our gap. Maybe one more. We'll try one more. 356. So I got 330, and this is 0.356. The top number is in inches. And in inches, we would be 0106. To 0.0213. There's 30. We just don't want to reach 0.54. 338. 338 is where she gets tight. So that's our top ring. Put in the next one here. Okay. I'm going to get oily hands, so we're going to get rid of these because they're now just an annoyance. Drop the piston down in there evenly. Yep. Don't drop the piston head first into the bore because we want it out later. Now, the second piston ring should have a little bit bigger of a gap. It should be between 40 and 62. So remembering what we had here on the first one would be super handy, which is why it was 0.38 I think we had. This ring should be bigger. And we want, again, we want 40 for the number 2 ring. So let's skip up to 40 right there. We got gap. That's 432. 432 fits. Let's go 457. 457 fits. This is good. Your second piston ring, from everything I've been told and read, should be a bigger gap than your first one. There we go. And we're at where'd it go? We're at 4.48. Let's go up to 50. 50 fits. Perfect. That's what we want. And our biggest one is 0.62. So let's jump up to 0.61 because that's the biggest one I got. And that does not fit. Okay, that's all right. 5.8. We'll work backwards here. There's 5.59. 5.59 fits. So we are right between everything. We are at 5.559 millimeters on the bottom, and I believe the top ring we were what? I think we were at 0.28 or something like that. But I can recheck that one. So put this here. Let's pull this one out. Get rid of the glove. This is where a pen and a paper, I should have that so I can remember what I had, because I have a great memory for a lot of things, but numbers aren't one of them. Oh, 62. I believe we're at 559. No, we had 5.8 there. So 5.8 on the bottom ring. I'm just going to reconfirm the top because I don't remember. Well, you should put them down in the bore, but I want to kind of be able to see what we're doing here. So what I'm measuring is right here on this gap. This one, so we got 5.8 for the bottom ring, and the top ring, I believe I was out at 2.8, and I could go as big as 5.4. So we'll try 3.8. 3.8 fits. Let's go 4.0. 4.0 fits. 4.32 just fits. 4.57 fits. 4.8 48. It's getting tighter. 48 and 54 is our biggest, so we don't want to crust that. So here's 50, and 50 does not fit. So I'm going to hold these gauges out. That'll go with that one, and the bottom oil rings are these guys here. There's our 5 piston rings. Slapped with the gap, and we got her measured. They're not all 100% tight tolerances, but they're a good tolerance. I don't have a problem with the tolerance that they're at, so that's pretty good. I'm going to assemble pistons. Each piston is marked. Let's see which one this is. This is number 2. Let's put that in number 2 hole. Let's find number 1 now. Your number 1. There it is. I got it. It's right here. I do not have a ring expander. Here's the other thing we have to look at. Okay, so in the manual, you're still here. All right. Well, you're hanging on for the show. I'm going to fast forward through most of this. And there's 17 pistons. 17 pistons, all done with new piston rings, new pistons. Yeah. And, yeah, very little blood. So here's what we got. All the pistons are done. They all got new rings in them. All new piston rings. Bored out block. I mean, this is a little diesel. She's not a big one. She's just a little bitty. So the next thing I got to do before I drop these in is I got to put the grooves, these grooves here in the right order. Not necessarily in order, but they don't get lined up, because you'll just have complete blow by. So one will be, you know, they're all offset from each other, but they're all kind of put together this way. Oh, you're not even in the right spot. Look at that guy. Hey, there he goes. Hey, to you, you're not being nice. That wasn't very friendly of you. So I line them all up like this, and then when I get ready to do them, it'll just be a matter of grab each one as individually as I go to drop them in and turn the rings to an appropriate position. I do have to get a you know, piston collar thingamajig to, you know, squish the rings so they go in. But I mean, how's that look? Like 5 brand new pistons. You know, they're gonna sit right down in there nicely. I don't want to drop them in there because it's going to be the end of the connecting rod on the crank down there. We don't want to do that. So I'm setting them just like this. And tonight, I'm going to put them in. Maybe you'll join me. Maybe you won't. You could bring coffee. Jeez. Oh, I have coffee. I got to be back. I forgot I had coffee. I got to get out of here. There you are. I can see you. I'm going to do a feeler gauge on all the rings. Make sure that their pistons are decent pistons and they don't got a lot of slop in them. So the first one ring groove is 050 to 095. And let me tell you, she's a thin one. So in here, it doesn't really give you an explanation of, you know, measuring it. But they do show in the picture here holding the rings in. And they're flush like this. So when the piston ring, the top one here, is pushed in, not below the surface, just in and flush, it does pull up tight on the 050, which is 0.51 millimeters here. Yeah, can you see it? Yeah, right there. Okay, so here's the first ring. Here's my 1051. I bring the piston ring out, bring it back in flush, and it's grabbing the feeler gauge. So that's good. It is saying should be 050 to 095. So once this is compressed all the way in and around, you know, we'll just get it back in there again. And you compress your rings. And it may sit a little deeper, but that's pretty good. So I'm happy with that. The second ring, number 2, and the oil ring is 06 to 10. So we'll go up. There's a 70. There's a 15. No, that's a 58. Oh, 051. So on this ring, right here, I slide that little sucker in underneath. Not working with my dominant hand, so this is kind of backwards for me, which is all sorts of fun. And it's in your way. I'll go on top of the piston. It's just easier. So then that sits in, and she's starting to grab. So it's pretty tight. She's snug. So We'll go with the 051 here again. I'm going to go down the row. In underneath, bring her in flush. Not 100% tight there. Not terrible. That one's way better. That one's good. And that one gets tight right there. Oh, what's going on here? Huh. Something going on wrong with that one. Maybe